do you think about when Dave Chapelle gets those Netflix deals? You feel like that's probably the best because he doesn't have to do movies no more. Just to get those Netflix deals to put out these specials, would you say that's the most lucrative move a comedian has made that you've seen?
I think it is, but I also think like for real, like when people throw around that word genius, Dave doesn't have to make you laugh. Dave Chapelle can literally just sit here and talk to you.
Real life.
It ain't real life. Just real life street stars. You know what time it is.
I'm curious. You said you were born in New York, but lived and grew up in Jersey, South Jersey. Who would you say was some comedians that made it out of your neck of the woods? As far as that might have been coming up around the time you were coming up as well, or maybe before you.
I mentioned talent, JB Smoove. If you don't know who JB Smoove is, then you Curb Your Enthusiasm and all that. Kevin Hart, Michael Blackson, Mike Epps. Like, I booked Mike Epps for shows.
Oh, wow.
Like, Mike Epps is like, and I love the fact with guys like that, like Mike Epps. Mike Epps really hasn't changed a bit.
Yeah, we can see at times.
Like, Mike Epps is really that, like, he's really that dude. Like, Mike Epps came to New York City. I'll never forget, because when Mike Epps hit New York City, he was killing stuff and everything like that. But Mike Epps never tried to adapt to the New York lingo. Where he never, you would never hear Mike Epps like, what up, son? What up, B? Like, he never tried to adapt. Like, Mike Epps was Mike Epps. And sometimes I wouldn't know what the fuck he was talking about. Like, he would say shit, and I'm like, what? We ain't had no internet. We ain't have Instagram. We ain't have TikTok and all that shit to find out what the other part of the country was talking about, like, whatever words. But Mike Epps came out there. Shout out to Donnell Rollins from DC, came out there. And the funny thing is, when I was really, like, young, I did a show at a comedy club called the New York City Comedy Club. And there was a guy named Dougie Doug who was in the second Cosby Show. There was a Cosby Show that was on CBS after the original one that was on NBC that ran for a while. There was Dougie Doug, and there was a guy named Dave Chapelle. And I knew, like, all we heard back in the day, once again, there's no social media. So all the word is Dave Chapelle, Dave Chapelle, Dave Chapelle, JB Smoove, and all these guys. And they needed a ride to the next comedy show, which was the Boston Comedy Club, which no longer exists in New York. And they got in my Nissan Sentra. So Dave Chapelle was in my car. I'm so groupied out. They were like, yo, can you give us a ride? Because they saw me get in the car. They were like, can you give us a ride? I said, yeah, I'll give y'all a ride. I didn't know it was fucking Dave Chapelle was sitting there. And we didn't even talk. Like, we just turned the radio on, dropped him off, and we got off. And I went to the comedy club. I think the Boston Comedy Club was here, and the Comedy Cellar was around the corner. And he walked to the Comedy Cellar. And I didn't even know I knew who I had, but I didn't know who was really the legendary, iconic Dave Chapelle was there. And I had a stick shift. How about that? Pause. I was literally on so. But that was Dave.
What do you think about when Dave Chapelle gets those Netflix deals? You feel like that's probably the best because he doesn't have to do movies no more. Just to get those Netflix deals to put out these specials, would you say that's the most lucrative move a comedian has made that you've seen?
I think it is, but I also think like for real, like when people throw around that word genius, Dave doesn't have to make you laugh. Dave Chapelle can literally just sit here and talk to you. And you'll sit there and be like, fuck. And you want to applaud him after,
right.
Whether, I know a lot of people.
Slide something in there, but
he'll say something that and it pisses you, as a comedian, it pisses you off because you're like, I saw the same thing you saw. I saw the same fucking thing you saw. Why didn't I think of what you thought of to say? Like, to me, that's amazing that at this point, Dave Chapelle could do a lecture tour.
He could. Yes.
He could do a lecture tour and just go to every university and just do a lecture tour and everybody, it would sell out.
No, that's